We're gonna do some more Great Ace Attorney 2 today, because, I don't really have much else to do today. And I always have my window open, so if you guys hear anything outside, it's because of that. But, the only things I'd expect to make noise would be like those stupid kids that come around here and scream for no reason. I don't know why they always do that, it's kind of weird. And then, I guess if, like, there's anything outside, like sirens or, helicopters or anything, I might just mute and pause. But it's not a big deal, really, because I can just, edit that out. But anyways, we're doing more of the trial, because big surprise, there's 2 parts to this trial. Sometimes there's 1 part, sometimes there's 2. It's pretty inconsistent, it seems. Maybe I'm just thinking of case 2, where I think there was only 1 part.
Oh, there you are, Odo.
What kept you, my dear fellow? Wow, everybody's pointing at me, man. Hello, Mr. Sholmes and Gina.
You sure about what you said in there? That the boss, you might, know, actually died the day before? It's pretty hard to swallow. Yes, I was shocked by the revelation too, Gina.
As was I, possibly more shocked than both of you. It's not a competition, Mr. Sholmes. But I was more shocked than all of you put together. This is the autopsy report in question, is it? Yes, it's strange that there's no time of death noted. I suppose there's a simple explanation. Well, perhaps it was a deliberate omission. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm thinking it's deliberate, honestly. Either it's deliberate or, like, they just genuinely don't know. I don't know. Anyways, today was the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. I don't know if I should go into much detail here, because I'm gonna, like, hella date myself by the time this VOD goes up on YouTube. But, I mean, yeah. I still find it hilarious that Discord is gonna be on the Switch, except it's, not quite Discord. It's Nintendo-branded Discord. Really weird.
It puts me in mind of the last case we worked on, and Dr. Scythe.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, it seems that on the day before Lord Van Zeeks discovered the body, Inspector Gregson was investigating the Red-Head League, so perhaps something happened with them. Come to think of it, you had trouble with those League men too, didn't you, Mr. Sholmes? You were taken in by their trick. No, no, no. Naturally, I wasn't taken in, as you put it. My sleuth hound interest was merely piqued slightly by the rare scent of a weekly £4 income. And that scent masked the underlying scent of deception, I suppose. Yeah, even in the 1900s and late 1800s, there were still scams.
The 2 criminals in question are the pair we saw being arrested yesterday, aren't they? In Mr. Sholmes' suite, I mean. That's right, Suze, and it was me what took 'em in. Thanks to a tip-off by the good, law-abiding citizen.
Indeed, yours truly. So it's going to be that pair in the witness stand next, is it? Yeah, I was wondering if those Fartknockers were going to be important, or if they were just going to be like one-off NPCs. See, that's the thing. There's a lot of characters that just end up being like one-off NPCs, and you don't even realize it, and they're like, oh yeah, those guys existed. Something doesn't quite make sense to me, though. The day before Inspector Gregson was found, you hadn't had trouble with the Red-Headed League yet, had you? Oh yeah, good example of like a one-off character that I think actually might come back is that weird lady with the frickin' like butcher knife that we saw in Dr. Scythe's lab. It's weird because I thought that character wasn't gonna pop up again, but I looked at the frickin' cover art for the game and I noticed, wait, that girl is there. That girl is on the front cover of the game, so surely she's important, right? Like, they wouldn't throw her away in, like, one little bit of Case 3 and never bring it up again. Why else she would be on the front cover? But then again, they made fucking Rei Mambami, like, super big on the front cover. You think she's gonna be important, and she's only in Case 1. So, I don't know. The day before Inspector Gregson was found, you hadn't had trouble with the Red-Headed League, had you? Why had the Inspector been investigating them? Well, the likely explanation would be that Gregson's own sleuth hound interest was piqued by the rare scent of a 4-weekly pound income.
Don't tar him with the same brush as you, Sholmes. Yes, well...
Then there's the whole issue of Inspector Gregson being investigated by Lord Van Zeeks for some reason. I don't know what that's all about.
The Reaper, the Redhead League, Inspector Gregson, Lord Van Zeeks, and Kazuma.
Yes, so he knew we'd arrive at this point somehow.
Gosh, I think you're right.
What's he really trying to achieve here today? All the answers will soon be revealed. Observe the time, my dear fellow. This recess will be over very shortly. Yeah, so much for there being a 30-minute recess. It ends up feeling like 5 minutes. Cosmo's determined that he should be the one to prosecute this trial. And he was determined that I should take the defense. Just what is it that he's hoping to make me see, I wonder? I get the feeling we're a long way from the end of this trial yet. Oh yeah, also, I had this theory based on going back and looking at the past footage and stuff. They mentioned something about Kazuma having like a mission in Japan or in Britain, right? And we don't know what that mission is. And based on what I've gathered, maybe his mission was that he was always going to try and be a prosecutor in Britain, and he wanted me to be a defense attorney, or I guess let's just say Ryunosuke. He wanted Ryunosuke to be a defense attorney, and the reason why he wanted to be a prosecutor is so that him and Ryunosuke could go up against each other in court, and they can take over like the British courts together, and they can work together and, you know, make the best of the courts by themselves. And then that way there's no like third-party British interference involved. So, because I initially thought that, like, you know, Ryunosuke, he would be, you know, tutored by Kazuma. But no, I'm thinking he always wanted to be a prosecutor, and he would reveal it like last second and be like, nope, you're a defense attorney now, I'm a prosecutor, I'm going to go up on the prosecutor's stand, and I'm gonna make you be the defender, the defense guy. And I don't know, I'm probably just spitting baloney, but that's a nice theory I thought of, because at the end of the day, that's what the prosecutors tend to want. They want to work with the defense to find the truth. That's usually what the being prosecutor is all about. Are you ready then, Miss Yuzuto?
Yes.
You know what I've not heard in this game yet? That's really fucking funny. Ryunosuke's freaking yes quote. That bubble is really funny. He's just like, yes! Oh, there he is, standing all awkwardly with his arms out. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again. We resume the closed court hearing of Barak Van Zeeks, here present, who stands accused of murder. Now then, Prosecutor Asogi. My lord, have you summoned the witnesses as requested? Yes, the 2 members of the Red-Headed League who planned and carried out the deception. They arrived not long ago from the local prison by police carriage. Very good. Bailiff, usher the 2 men into the courtroom. Oh boy, here comes these Fartknockers again. I'm saying Fartknockers a lot. What the hell is going on here? These 2 men are currently being held by the police on the suspicion of attempted extortion. You may omit your occupations, but state your names now for the court. I am Fabien de Rousseau. So he's French, gotcha. A descendant of the great de Rousseau family from Nice on France.
And my name is Peppino de Rossi.
Okay, so French and Italian, gotcha.
I am the son of a great familia de Rossi, the landowners from Napoli.
The two men first became acquainted at a boarding school for European nobility. Those who graduate from Temsic are the future leaders of Europe. But do you have any idea how boring it is to be born with this noble blood? Alors, I make it my mission to get the better of the world by employing the little grey cells of my brain. That is all I'm trying to do, huh?
So, that's the only reason for this whole grand deception you've been carrying out?
Oui, you could say that.
Not bad, eh? He has the grand ideas, but the petty plans. This strange combination is at the charm of the hilarious brothers. Si capo?
Alright, I think I've had enough cold air. I think I'm gonna close my window. It's good enough, I think. Listen to me, Peppino. I have two things to say to you.
Eh, Chi? Are you about to tell me one of your grandy anecdotes, Eviva?
Firstly, I want you to stop calling me this capo. And secondly, we are not the hilarious brothers. This is serious business.
Chi bello, there it is, the capo's trump card, furrow brow. It is a deeper, capo, the furrow and the meaning of your words.
The court's been led to believe that under the banner of the Red-Headed League, you have conspired to swindle money from unsuspecting members of the public. Is this true?
Oui, c'est ça.
And what exactly was the nature of this deception by which you planned to defraud?
Alors, I will explain it. No, capo, leave it to me. As you see, we both have the vivid red hair, no? At school, we were teased for this without pity. The capo over here, he was many times behind the schoolhouse, crying like a Trevi fountain. Wee, those dogs! One day the world will respect us redheads. Every night he would bury his head in his pillow and wait for...
Say bien, Peppino, enough. I will explain the rest. The first step was the newspaper advertisement. About 1 week before the plan was cut into operation, we listed the same notice in every paper in London.
Yes, we saw that notice. It was this one, I believe, entitled to the Redhead League.
Oui, c'est ça. I am honored that you have seen it.
It states that the only condition for joining the League is having flame-colored hair, and that if you satisfy the interview panel and are admitted to the League, you could receive a weekly income of £4.
On the date specified, red-headed hopefuls gathered in droves at a park specified in the advertisement. And from each person present, this pair took an application fee of 5 shillings. And with the money, 2 francs, it was a plan most elegant, no? No, it was most dishonorable.
Yeah, like the dishonorable fight.
But to be frank, I'm stunned anyone was foolish enough to be taken in by such an obvious trick.
The park was described by one witness as choked with redhead folk like a Costa's orange barrow.
And the day on which all those men gathered to apply was the day before the victim was discovered. Crucially, these 2 men spoke face to face with every single person present that day. Oui, I have seen more red-headed people in one day than I will see in the rest of my life.
See, and now every time I see the capo's hair, I feel sick to my stomach.
Anyway, why have we been summoned here today?
Sorry?
The date for our trial was not until tomorrow, I was told. Naturally, neither of these men have been told any details about this trial. They've only been shown this photograph. Very good. So, Mr. De Rosso and Mr. De Rossi, you'll now give your formal testimony for the court on the subject of the gentleman pictured in this photograph. Of course, we are always ready to help with the law.
Yeah, somehow I doubt that. Man, I don't know. It's just like a Japanese staple to have, like,
a really tall, slender guy and a really short, fat guy as like a duo.
We had more than 1,000 red-headed people assembled in the park on Line Street that day.
But I don't recall the man in this photograph. Eh, Capo?
No, I don't remember him. Obviously, he's dead now. But I assure you, he was not in the park.
Allora, this victim has nothing to do with us.
You have a lot to answer for, Peppino. It is your fault that we are caught in the first place.
You like how he's calling him Peppino. Frickin' Peppino. Pizza Tower, man. I can't stop thinking about that. Is that actually their names? Oh my god, yes it is. He derives from the French aristocracy, the third son of a great Italian landowner. Wow. I don't know. You could have convinced me that that dude was like 10 years old, and I would have believed you, because he does not look 25. He looks fucking fresh, for lack of a better word.
You've given sworn testimony that this man in the photograph was not present. Can you be certain? Oui, I am quite certain. We did not interview this man.
Nobody looking like this. I came to the park. This I can promise.
Must be noted that you have been arrested for a grand deception, however. Accordingly, this court has little confidence in your assurances.
How far? With this attitude, we get to nowhere, huh?
He's really a sulking now.
This confidential document was obtained directly from the Scotland Yard. It records an entry from the inspector's private diary dated the day before the incident. It reads, Lime Street, Red-Headed League undercover.
Ah, I have the answer. Maybe there was another civil event in the park on the day in question, eh?
That is ridiculous.
There's no question that Inspector Gregson was investigating the Red-Headed League, which means it's quite possible that's when he was killed.
Very well. The defense may proceed with the cross-examination now.
Yeah, this is gonna be the whole second part of this trial, is trying to figure out why these douche nozzles are, you know, guilty.
Hold it!
Man, what's with Ace Attorney and having evil French people? Which, it hasn't happened a lot, but the fact it's happened twice is kind of wild. 1,000 people, that's a very big crowd.
It was quite a spectacle. Redheads had come over from all over the capital.
See, the capo here, he has the magnificissimo animale, eh? Nobody else could attract so many people. If I could be born again, I would be the capo.
All those people wanted the money, Peppino. The £4 per week.
How you suggest? Wait, all right. Why did I do Renosuke's voice?
Are you suggesting that you spoke personally with all 1,000 applicants? Oui, that we did, because every one of them paid us 5 shillings.
We take their names, and we take their money, and we take their addresses as well. Then I tell them we take us a day to let them know by a post, finito, maybe 2 minutes a person. We start early in the morning, and we stop late in the night.
So, you earned 5,000 shillings in one day? That's a small fortune.
Who'd have thought there were 1,000 such gullible redheads in London to start with?
One of whom was a great detective with chemically altered hair. Yeah, frickin' Sholmes and his Ronald McDonald hair, man.
Hold it!
Is Capo, like, Italian for captain or something? He doesn't look at all familiar.
No, I don't think so. This is a wig, eh? He was trying to kill us. Or trick us. I do not like the people who are trying to trick the other people.
Says the con artist.
If between them they interviewed 1,000 people with red hair, it would be unreasonable to expect them to remember every face.
No, senor. I may be small, but my memory is very large. I never forget a thing.
It's like a more happy version of like the frickin' Balloon Man I did in the last case.
In my opinion, I do not think this man was in the park.
But he's not going to give the cult a definitive, it seems. Or a definite.
Hey, Capo, you didn't see a man like this, huh?
Hold it!
But according to what you've said, you spoke with 1,000 or more of that people that day.
Oui, that's true. My eyes were burning by the end of the day.
Surely then, you can't actually remember every single face. How are you so certain that this particular man wasn't present?
Normally, the redhead's very distinctive, eh? But not when you have 1,000 redheads crowding around, then it's just an eyesore. But if there was some other information you could give us, maybe then we could recall.
That is not the line, Peppino. Remember, we do not remember him. We assure us that fact, huh? If there was a man with the red headpiece, but his mustache did not match the red color, then I do not think I could have forgotten him.
Cosmo said these two had only been shown the photograph and they've been told nothing else at all. Can I look at the photograph again, maybe? I mean, his mustache wasn't red. And we already examined this, so... But what if I fed them just one other detail about the victim, for example? His name, his fish and chips. Nah, fuck it, I want to do the fish and chips, oh my god. That might actually be relevant. The fish and chips might actually be relevant. I can certainly appreciate that just knowing the man had red hair wouldn't help you remember this situation. But what if I told you that the man was always munching on a packet of fish and chips? Do you remember a man who was eating incessantly?
Oh, not really. I was looking only at the heads of the applicants. I wouldn't have noticed the fish and chips any more than the caviar and the smoked salmon.
Or the spaghetti. Me, I love the spaghetti.
Really? I had no idea.
Tell them again what you said before, Peppino.
Si, Capo, si. Say it again and again.
Okay, so maybe it's not that. Okay, I actually kind of want to go back to that statement because I have a save here. The fish and chips was pretty funny though. Alright, what was his profession? I can certainly appreciate that just knowing the man had red hair. Okay, yeah. But what if I told you that the man in the red hairpiece was actually a detective?
The man is the photograph a detective?
Yes.
It would appear he found your notice in the paper suspicious and decided to investigate incognito. Sorry, but this changes nothing.
Well, he seems to think otherwise.
Excuse me.
Something to add, Mr. De Rossi?
Che, si. I am always adding something. Parmesan, olive oil, pepper.
What I mean is, did you not agree with your friend's last remark by any chance? Oh boy, here we go, the clown music again.
What did you just say about the detective?
Yes, that.
Keep your mouth shut, Peppino. You've said enough already.
But why, Capo? What's the problem? There was a man who said, I'm an inspector from Scotland Yard.
What?
Good lord.
Bro, he's so short, he needs the frickin' crate.
Order! You explain this volte-facing your testimony, witness.
It's simple. A man who was at the park and said to us,
there was no such man.
Madai, what are you saying, Capo? Have you forgotten, eh?
I have forgotten nothing. Nobody like this came to the park.
Basta, Capo, basta. You beat me at many things, but not to the memory and the meals. Like I said, when it's time to eat the pasta, no one is faster.
But you are inferior to me in every other way, so shut up.
Double desk slam.
Oh. Shut up, Ty. The damage is done. Indeed it is, sir. Oui, there was a man who came to the park and he said he was an inspector from Scotland Yard. However, he looked nothing like the man in the photograph. He was someone else.
How can you be so sure?
Because, to start with, his face was completely different.
See, it's true, it's true. The man who came was younger. His face was clean-shaven, his eyes were sadder, his chin was thinner.
No resemblance whatsoever there. Oh, is he talking about Mr. Sholmes then?
Anyway, I was not going to be fooled. I took the obvious precaution and said to him, "If you're really a detective, show us the proof."
See, the couple here, he doesn't take no nonsense, eh?
But he was well prepared. He said he had identification.
Identification? You mean official police inspector's identification?
That is most unconvincing.
Well, actually, there's two possibilities now. It's possible that either they're talking about Sholmes, or an even more deep cut, maybe they're talking about Gina, because Gina's also a detective. Sorry, my lord?
Counsel, no incognito inspector would offer his identification for inspection. It's quite another question. Definitely. Why would he expose his true identity? Clearly, the papers were fake.
Stutter, Capo, you're a genius. As we in Italia, it takes a thief to recognize another, eh?
And what happened after he announced that he was a detective?
It became very annoying. He said, "You're under investigation." So I took his papers from him and chased him out of the park.
It was fantastico. Look, here's the identification.
So, you stole it from the man?
He had it coming. He made us very scared. But he was not who he said he was.
Indeed, the person described does not appear to have behaved as a true inspector would. However, I believe it would be prudent for these identification papers to be entered into evidence.
But I like them.
Okay. The inspector's identifications have been entered.
Now, let us return to the witness's testimony.
Alright, well, we're definitely looking at that. Metropolitan Police Warrant card. Well, suppose we should see what this inspector's identification looks like inside. 997. Do we know anybody with 997? I don't know. Yes, definitely looks fake, doesn't it?
Out of interest, what name's given?
Probably just something plucked out of the air. It's Tobias Gregson. Oh. Wait, what?
This Scotland Yard insignia looks genuine to me.
But how?
And the apartment identification number details are all correct as well.
Since when have you known those? Do you mean to say...
I know it seems incredible, but yes. I think this is a genuine identification book issued by Scotland Yard.
But that's unbelievable. This is the real thing after all. Okay. Inspector Gregson's police identification. Nothing else? Just the identification papers? Okay. Man, those little blue, like, hand-printed books look really cool. My passport looks like that, too. It's really cool looking. Ah, I just fuck with that. Alright. Well, we're gonna press it anyways, because I pressed this one already, right?
Hold it!
But we only have your word for that.
See, but what else can we do, huh?
True.
Hoofa, we are not having much of fun these days. First we arrested, and then we are shown the horrible picture of a dead man. And now you question every single thing we say. We are the victims here. Eh, Capo?
No, you were caught carrying out a plot to swindle hundreds of innocent people.
Huh, you had to bring that up, eh? It's not fair. Eh, Capo?
Well, that didn't do shit.
Hold it!
What do you mean by that?
Cavolo, you promised me not to say, Capo?
After we'd taken all the money that day, we should have left the country. That was my plan. I left the purchasing of the tickets for the ferry to Dunkirk to my companion here. But he bought them for the wrong day.
Oops.
See, but this is an easy mistake to make, huh? The 1st, the 31st.
Boff, I have no sympathy from you. We were an old day late before the boat because of your stupidity. And it's only because of this that the so-called great red-headed detective caught us.
Capo, you know what I think? This is the work of God. Is the only punishment, eh?
Peppino, for the last time. This is not only punishment, this is only your fault.
Ah.
Don't blame God for your unholy mistakes. You're making me sick with anger.
Maybe I make a mistake, but when it is time for me to eat the pasta, no one is faster.
And I've seen the evidence. They haven't told us much we didn't know already.
What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo?
Well, if it was in the inspector's diary, it seems likely that he must have gone to Lime Street that day. And yet those two both claim they didn't see him.
I have to say, they don't appear to be telling lies.
Well, they are experts in deception, don't forget. Sounding plausible is their specialty. They may be lying simply to avoid being implicated in this case as well.
Surely if they are truly experts in deception, they wouldn't have been caught.
Well, yes, you do have a point there. It seems to me like we need more information.
Definitely.
Well, I mean, I have the info already. That's not really an issue, it's just what statement. He was not in the park. And yet, you saw his identification. Okay. Maybe I could try it on this statement?
Objection!
There we go. I wonder if I could ask you two to examine this identification book very closely. Miss Lestrade?
Why Miss Lestrade? What is your intention here, Counsel?
Is this really a fake or is it genuine? That's the question, which we can't answer ourselves.
Objection! Don't be ridiculous. No Scotland Yard detective would allow his or her identification to be stolen.
Oh.
That is the boss's, no question about it.
There can't be.
As I suspected. The undercover detective who attended the Red-Headed League's enrollment on the day in question was the real Inspector Gregson, carrying out an incognito investigation.
That's the law!
Look at his position, man.
Order!
But if the boss had his identification stolen, he would have reported it straight away. I mean, he was always on me about it. If you lose something, report it once, he'd say.
Could it be, then, that the inspector was physically unable to report it?
Physically, eh? What do you think?
Unable to? You're not suggesting?
Yes, it's quite possible that he was killed before he had a chance to report his identification being stolen.
No! Order! Again!
Defense posits? That's an interesting word. That the victim was killed the day before his body was discovered at a different location. Do you two have anything to say about that? Oh, he's down again.
Oh, I know nothing. Oh, I know nothing. Oh.
Put yourself together, Peppino. Mon Dieu, you can be a little more like a master criminal than that, don't?
No,
Oh, now I wish I'd returned to Italia. Oh.
Stop crying, Peppino, please. Otherwise,
Lume, stop your whining and start talking.
well, I believe the court will need to hear your story in considerably more detail.
I know nothing. I did nothing.
But you will tell everything, or face the worst possible outcome.
They're both fucking crying.
You'll dry your eyes and testify again. About these identification papers and the precise circumstances under which you came by them.
Ah! For crying out loud. They're starting the testimony by crying.
The truth is, we took him prisoner and kept him for the night at our secret hideout. Even though I didn't think he was a real detective, I was too scared to let him go that day, just in case.
He took the man's identification from him, shut him in the room next to ours.
There might have been a little tussle, but we did him no harm, and the next morning we let him go.
He spent the night in the nice room. It was nothing like a prison, really.
This is outrageous. You imprisoned the man?
But no, see, no. It was not like his prison. He was very comfortable and calm and happy. Capo?
It was never part of my plan. I swear it.
Uffa, so you think it was my fault, eh? Just because I got the date of the ferry wrong by one little day.
I do not think it's your fault, Peppino. I know it.
No. Por favor, Capo. It is not fair.
You shall have plenty of time for squabbling back at the prison, gentlemen. Oh, I don't believe this. How could I have been a real detective? Counsel for the defense, proceed with the cross-examination.
So on the day before the incident, Gregson spent the night confined in this pair's hideout. Wow, this case is getting a little more interesting. It's not going to really get interesting until the second act, or I guess third act. Because this is technically the second act of the trial. Usually cases are split up into 4 acts. You know, one investigation, one trial, another investigation, and another trial. Gotta take a drink. Alright.
Hold it!
Do you realize what you're saying?
You have to believe me, I never intended for that to happen. And I'm sure the detective did not intend it either.
Do you think...
But there was nothing else I could do.
See, nothing else. This was a first-time crime for the capo. He was at the end of his wits.
I have told you before, Peppino, that is not the way to describe a criminal mastermind. What about this hideout of yours? An old empty house behind the park on Lime Street?
We rented the place for 2 days. It was inspired idea by the capo here.
An impulsive idea, I would say.
No, not impulsive, inspired, capo?
What am I supposed to say to that, Peppino?
And it was in the house described that you can find Inspector Gregson, was it?
Oh, oui. But you have to remember, I was under the impression that he was a pretender, not a real inspector.
That doesn't quite add up, though. If you didn't think the man was a real inspector, then there would have been no reason to take him prisoner, would there?
No, you're right. But we couldn't be completely certain.
Alright.
Hold it!
Too scared? Why?
Because why they come to the park, we didn't know. There was a chance that he'd seen through my plan.
And if that was the case, you would go straight to the police station and borrow the whistle on us. Even if you're just training to be an inspector, you was up to no good, huh? Without respect, without doubt, yeah.
I think most people would agree that it's you two who are up to no good.
Well, see, you may be right, Pekapo.
The point is, we are not able to escape from England immediately. That is why we had no choice but to take the man prisoner.
What I don't understand is why the inspector felt the need to show you his identification in the first place.
See, I asked myself the same question.
We are writing down the names of the addresses of all the people we took 5 shillings from that day. I have forgotten what name he said, but the address, it startled me.
See, address Scotland Yard, Homicide Division, he said.
What?
He probably didn't like your face, Peppino. Anyway, I was not rude. I just politely asked him why he said it. And that's when he started to say he was an inspector. Not long afterwards, he took out his identification.
What was Inspector Gregson playing at?
Tell the court what happened next. You took him back to your hideout, you say?
See, we did.
That being this identification book here, correct?
See, that's the one.
What made you believe that it was a forgery?
I never seen a real one, of course. But he's so suspicious, this man. Allora, I was thinking, it must be falso, Capo?
Oui, that it is just as Peppino said. We were convinced it was not genuine.
And so together, the hilarious brothers, we took the man captive.
All we did was shove him inside a locked room. Then we made preparations to transport all the money.
In for penny, in for pound. I love this music. What do you mean by a little tussle exactly?
Oh, boy, it was nothing. Just a minor incident.
The first inspector, he was a real piece of the work, Capo?
What happened?
Oh, fine, it was a disaster. We gave him a nice room, and what does he do, huh? In the middle of the night, he tries to escape through the ventilator.
Can you blame him?
We chased him, bien sir, and we caught him again.
Can you blame us?
Wait, you didn't shoot the man in your haste, did you?
What do you think we are? Of course not. I simply caught hold of him again and take him back to the room.
Excuse me.
Mr. DeRosie, is something wrong?
Me?
Something Mr. DeRousseau just seemed to make you, well, it seemed to make you act even more strangely than usual. What was that all about? Actually, I just realized something. Are there names like a pun on the word rose, but in different languages? You know what? I'm gonna look that up real quick. I'm kind of curious. Alright, so we're gonna do French. Actually, maybe not. I mean, it definitely seems to be based on the word rose. I don't know. I don't want to go to the, I don't want to go to the wiki and, like, accidentally get spoiled and shit, so I'm not gonna look it up.
Come along, at times like that, you don't want to have the devil at you, after you, believe me. And I'm speaking from a personal experience.
Personal experience?
That is enough, Peppino. There's no need to say more.
Yeah, I think that is what their names are based on, is the word Rose, but his sounds French and his sounds Italian. What's the duh part mean, then? Like D-Rose? D-Rose? I don't know.
The truth is, the night before we put the red-headed league plan to action, I was scared. It was not fair to the capo, but I tried to run away.
It's a shame you didn't manage it.
But the capo here, he came after me like a third mine, huh? And he dragged me back to the house, kicking and screaming. I still have the bruises to prove it, eh, capo?
Bruises, you say?
Ah, you want to see, huh? You want to see my fantastical bruises?
That's enough now, Peppino. No one to look at any part of you.
What to do, huh? I show you or I don't. I show you or I don't.
You do, now.
Laura, if everybody wants to see, then I do it. Echo, you see? It's still very visible, eh?
That red ring around your neck. You got that when you were dragged back to the house?
See, the capo, sometimes he's a very rough and...
I said that's enough. Peppino's neck is nothing to do with what we're talking about here. You have my word.
Actually, I believe him. Because wasn't there another, there was another guy with yeah, it was the fucking, clown guy. He had a bruise on his neck, too.
What is your opinion, Counsel?
About this red ring around Mr. DeRosie's neck, I wonder, does it matter? Yes, it matters. Mr. DeRosie, I'm going to have to ask you to amend your testimony with details about that mark around your neck.
Eh, capo, you see? Everyone's interested in what I say, huh?
Ugh. Very well. You'll amend your testimony as requested, Mr. DeRosie.
See, if you really want to know. He tried to escape, but the capo put a collar on him and dragged him back, like what he did to me, you see?
Hold it!
Are you saying that red mark was caused by...
See, a big collar made from a leather.
A leather collar?
Is this true, Mr. Rousseau? What? We had the Saint Bernard at home when I was younger. It is a souvenir from that time, with a very strong chain.
A strong chain? And you put that around your friend's neck?
I'm sorry, I was so angry that he was leaving me alone.
You did not have to tie the chain of a leg to a bed, Arthur, huh? I would not have tried to run again.
You didn't do that to Inspector Gregson as well, did you?
Treat the people equal, is the capoeira's motive, eh?
It's starting to sound a lot more like a prison all of a sudden.
The capo's tough, but the capo's rough.
I shouldn't have done it.
So, the following morning, when you released the inspector...
He had the ring around his neck, just like me.
Peppino, s'il vous plaît, leave it now.
Now you know, huh? The capo here don't want to tangle with him, eh? But for the inspector, he's not so bad.
And then there's this one. You took away the man's freedom. However comfortable you make it sound, you're still holding him prisoner.
If you say that, then I say this. There is something that takes away our freedom too. The lack of money. So we are the prisoners as well, huh? All of us.
Huh?
No money, no freedom. This is the truth. It makes me mad, and it makes me sad. What can we do?
Well... If you feel so disenfranchised, take money to court. Though it'll cost you, of course.
But there you have it. You see, that is why we need the Red-Headed League, to fight for the justice.
Perhaps he has a point.
No, Mr. Naruhodo. All we did was to give the man a comfortable place to sleep for the night. And you say it was a prison, huh?
Perhaps he has a point again.
No again, Mr. Naruhodo. You should have heard them snoring. My guy, if anyone was disturbed, it was us.
Not much to go on, really.
Their testimony does make you wonder, you know. About this pocket watch belonging to the inspector, I mean.
Ah yes, the one he treasured so much, apparently.
He was confined but not restrained, as the witnesses are implying. He would still have been able to wind his watch.
That's very true, yes. So, did Inspector Gregson actually die while he was being held captive by those redheads?
In which case, is it possible that these two young men are responsible for Inspector Gregson's?
To be honest, I find that hard to believe. Perhaps we should try to find out exactly what happened.
Very wise, Mr. Naruhodo, yes.
Alright. You know, I won't lie. It is such a nice day out today that I actually wouldn't mind going shopping at like 4 or 5 in the afternoon. It's damn nice. And I think I'm probably gonna make a trip to Superstore after this stream so I can get some more water enhancers because I'm kind of running low. And I don't know, I might get like a flatbread or something. But yeah, I might talk about what I've been doing, maybe in a different stream like Kirby or something. A game that doesn't really require as much attention. So yeah. Alright, so let's see. What is my evidence again? We have the identification, obviously, which we already looked at. What do we have? What do we have with that? He doesn't have that on his collar. What can I even look at? This is just being about pointing out him being shot. I don't know if Gregson's photograph's ever gonna come into play later or not. This is nothing. I don't think this photograph's gonna be coming to play. Or this one. I actually don't know what to present, to be honest. Well, what else do I have? Letter of introduction, obviously that's not gonna be it. Dismissal note? Is this gonna be, important at all? Aiding and abetting the escape from this prison. There is that also as well. I don't know if this jailbreak has anything to do with these guys, though. That I'm not too sure about. But I guess it might be worth considering. We have a gun. I already looked at the notice board as well. I blanked so hard that I don't know. What if he got choked by, like, the policeman figure or something? I don't know. Sounds stupid. Can I press this again?
Hold it!
Yeah. Do I present, like, the photograph or something? Wait, let me look at my history. No, he did not have that. He does not have the red ring. I'm gonna save, though, because this one I'm not sure about. He does not have a collar in this picture. You can see it. You can see it pretty clearly. So the day before his body was discovered, Inspector Gregson was taken prisoner while working incognito.
No, it was not like that. It was hardly a prison. It was an invitation to stay. It was only...
However you describe it, there's one glaring inconsistency that remains.
What inconsistency is this, Counsel?
I would ask the court to look closely at this photograph of the victim, Inspector Gregson. Ooh, here's the music. You will see that there's no red ring visible around his neck. Yeah, it's okay. Okay, so that is it.
Eh? But that makes no sense. It was me who took the collar of the man in the morning. And I saw the red bruises on his neck, just like I have.
Given that the marks still clearly visible on this witness's neck, we'd expect to see bruising on the victim, who was put in the collar more recently than Mr. DeRossi.
Indeed, that is most peculiar.
But why tell you, huh? We say this from the beginning, many times.
Oui, Peppino's right. The man is the photograph. He is someone different to the man we had captives at night. Order!
It would appear then that on the day before the incident, the man who visited the park on Lime Street posing as an incognito inspector was not Inspector Gregson at all. If that's true, however, how to explain the inspector's identification? This is a genuine identification book issued by Scotland Yard. It's inconceivable that someone could have stolen such an important item from the inspector. The prosecution made that assertion itself. It's frickin' flinch. Like, it doesn't even really look like a flinch. It just looks like he's like... It looks like his hat's getting blown off, and he's like, shit, my hat.
And we also know that the inspector had made a note about the Redhead League in his diary for that day. Which surely means we can't divorce those two events completely.
The inconsistency known by a defense is most troubling. If it were the real Inspector Gregson whom these two red-haired gentlemen encountered, the fact that no bruising appears around his neck defies explanation. But equally, if they actually encountered an imposter, how did that person came to be in possession of the real Inspector's identification? Does the events have something plausible for explanation, Counsel?
The whole thing defies explanation.
It is for precisely these occasions that we keep meticulous notes in the court record, Mr. Naruhodo. Because those are the facts, and the facts cannot lie.
No, the facts can't lie. Even when they point to something so incredible, it's almost unbelievable. Well, my lord, the true identity of the person who turned up in the park for Redhead League's enrollment is revealed by information in the court record, I believe.
Good gracious.
Very tantalizing, Mr. Naruhodo.
So why don't you help us all to see whatever truth it is that you've apparently seen? Who exactly was this inspector that appeared for Mr. DeRosso and Mr. DeRossi?
An imposter, obviously. Though it seems incredible, I admit, the undeniable fact to point to only one thing. Since no bruising can be seen on the victim's neck, the person who those two redhead men took prisoner that day cannot have been Inspector Gregson.
In other words, your whole argument up to now has been a waste of time.
On the contrary, I haven't finished.
What?
There's no bruising on the victim's neck, so the question immediately posed next is, who exactly was this man in the park on Lime Street found to be carrying Inspector Gregson's identification?
See, that's right. We tell the same story every time. Whoever this man is was the couple dragged him from a pillar to a post with a dog collar.
Mon Dieu, Peppino. It was not so harsh as you say, oh.
So who was the false suspector, eh? Who was he?
Clearly the defense has an idea about that. About the true identity of the man these two imprisoned that night. I must ask the counsel for the defense to elaborate post-haste. Who did the witnesses encounter in the park posing Inspector Gregson?
Well, obviously, it was Gossip.
Take that!
You can see it in his neck.
Goodness me, isn't that...
One of the witnesses who was in the stand in this very courtroom earlier today. A nameless man whose only occupation appears to be peddling hearsay to passerbys.
Objection! What on earth will a street seller be doing with a police inspector's identification papers? Witnesses, is this the man or not? What has happened to his lip?
See, this man is not for the Redhead League, eh? He's looking for a Twisted Lip League, no?
Perhaps rather than making such a rash claim next time, you should bite your lips instead.
It seems improbable, yes, but one undeniable fact remains. During his testimony earlier, I noticed something around the man's neck. A red ring of bruising.
Eh? What?
Defense demands that Mr. Gossip be brought back to the stand. I love how that's just his name, Mr. Gossip.
Order! Bailiff, bring the aforementioned witness back into the courtroom. Immediately.
Wow, I get this Fartknocker again.
Well, I never. An undeniable ring of bruising, indeed. And identical to that of the witness beside him. Now, what's going on here, eh? I've always had this, me. It's a birthmark, isn't it?
A birthmark, you say?
I assume the reason you've been recalled to the stand has been explained to you? Somewhat about an inspector again. Well, I'm telling you, you got it all wrong as usual.
You're denying all knowledge of it.
Well, of course I am. Are you trying to kill me with all this nonsense, eh? Well, at least you'll have more stories to peddle back on Fresno Street, won't you? Now, we're going to need you to testify again.
And you, Mr. DeRosso and Mr. DeRosie, I'm sure you'll cooperate, won't you?
Do we have any chance? Or choice?
We're in a big trouble, eh, Capo?
The Fartknockers just increase by the day.
That's quite enough dilatory chatter. Proceed with the testimony.
Well, hey, since my phone's charging right now, it'll be full charge when I'm ready to go for my walk later. The inspector and the identification revisited. Oh my god.
The man who claimed to be inspector that day was definitely not this man.
It's right, see, you think we don't forget these grand lips, huh?
I never leave Fresno Street, alright? I have no interest in any red-headed league. I'm all alone in the world, mate. I've no kinfolk or nothing. Why would I be involved in something like that? Just look at me, eh? Does it look like I carry off a disguise with a face like this?
Not really.
It would certainly appear that we have the wrong man. What have I been telling you, know? There's no need for this pointless testimony. That's right, I'm just a simple peddler, remember? Fresno Street's all I know. How would I have come by it? By a police inspector's identification book, eh?
Well, yes, that's hard to explain, but...
A brief cross-examination, I think, counsel. Very brief.
Isn't there anyone in this courtroom who thinks I might be onto something?
I stand steadfastly at your side always, Mr. Naruhodo.
Alright, well... You're still gonna press everything. So you say, but how can you be quite so certain?
There is no need to earth around on the desk, monsieur. Surely the reason's obvious, no? Because I have never before seen lips like this.
Nevertheless, there's a clear red mark around Mr. Gossip's neck. And it looks very much like that left behind on the neck of your colleague by your prize collar.
Mon Dieu, with your words, it's like you're trying to wring my neck.
It does look very much like my neck, though, eh?
No, this a birthmark, lad. The biggest lips in London and a neck to die for. Aye, they broke the mold when they made me. For the first time in my life. I feel lucky to have been born with red hair.
And I thought being Japanese made you stand out in London.
So you maintain that you've never seen this man before? Oui, c'est ça. I swear to it by the flames of my hair.
So fierce pride has outgrown the frustration with your hair now, has it?
Hold it!
Well, yes, I don't imagine I'll forget those lips in a hurry either.
That is what I'm saying. For some reason, it makes me want to eat, how the Fabian call it, an eclair. You know, I've never seen the hair as black as yours before either.
Likewise, I've never seen red hair like yours until I came to Britain.
See, maybe it's a national trait, huh? Maybe all the people from this man's country have the grand lips.
No, lad, I was born right here on Fresno Street, and I've never left.
Oh, but that is the problem, see?
So you definitely didn't go to the park on Lime Street that day, Mr. Gossip?
No, I mean times like this make you want you to say it, eh?
I can't talk. Can I prove that he left Fresno Street? Do I have anything like that? I mean, yeah, not really. We don't really have much to prove that, do we?
Hold it!
So, you'd heard of the Redhead League, had you?
You don't get a name like Gossip for nothing, eh? It's my business to know what's going off in town. I sold that tasty tidbit to a fair few redheads that came past me. Just between us, I even got sandwich to cough up for it.
Well, he does have a very red nose, if that counts. Who knows?
Well, as you can see, my own hair's not got a hint of red in it. In any case, Fresno Street's my patch. You won't catch me sliding off to some other part of town. Not likely.
Okay, you have something.
Excuse me.
I think that says sidling, not siding. Or sliding. Mr. Derso.
Oh, oui. Can I help you?
Did Mr. Gossip's word now just lead you to remember something relevant, perhaps?
It was the other day when I was looking for the place near the park. A small house or something. To be the headquarters of your Redhead League, yes. I visited an housing agent on Lime Street, and there I saw him. This man was paying money to the agent. What?
Mr. Gossip with a housing agent?
Oui, he had some kind of contract in his hand, and they were clearly discussing terms. But no, you're mistaken, chum. I've never left Fresno Street, me, like I said before. You've mistaken me for someone else, someone with the same face.
No, the cap was right. I remember that too. He was paying the man with some banknotes.
With notes.
Like I said, that wasn't me.
I was curious why this man with the dirty clothes had so much money. So I looked at the name on the papers.
And what name was written? Mr. Gossip?
No, this man, he lies. He tells you that he has a known name. But in fact, his name is Hugh Boone, huh? He's better than Mr. Gossip, I think, see?
No! I'm a peddler of tidbits and information, like I said, on Fresno Street, and that's that. I don't much like folk talking about my personal life. Indeed. And it's not the intention of the court to invade the privacy of witnesses. Very well, I shall respect your wishes, sir. The aforementioned name shall be redacted from all court records of this trial, assuming no objections.
Objection!
No, I have an objection. I'm sorry, my lord, but the defense does object. Because the name just mentioned has a very deep significance to this case.
Good gracious! Do you similarly object, Prosecutor Sogi?
As it happens, my lord, that particular name has already been mentioned during today's proceedings.
Well, I never. In what capacity?
Hugh Boone, the name of the leaseholder of the room.
Let me put this very simply. The victim's body was discovered in your rented room.
I suggest, sir, that you start talking. Well, alright. I suppose that might be the case, eh?
So your real name is Hugh Boone? I guess so. His name up. Does it mean his record updated too? Not yet. It will in a sec though, probably.
Well, just between us, I don't like to blow me own trumpet, but there's no finer peddler of tidbits in town. So I happen to be able to afford a grubby little room in falling down backstreet townhouse. You do? And once every 6 months, I go and pay the rent to the agent on Lime Street. I remember it now. There were 2 vulgar redheads in there last time.
Aye, if either of us is a vulgar, it's not to me.
Think again, Peppino. Why didn't you bring this up before? It's like I told you already. I don't like talking about my personal life. I'm a tidbit peddler as far as everyone else is concerned. No fuss. You will update your testimony to include this most surprising revelation, Mr. Boone. If I must. So the leaseholder Scotland Yard has been looking for since the body was discovered. Has been here under their noses all along. I rent the room where that fellow was round, true, for what difference it makes.
Hold it!
Okay, let's hold that then. So, you live in that room presumably, do you?
No, I don't live there. What do you think? There's no bed, is there? Just a desk.
Then why would you want to rent it?
Well, I don't think I should have to say, really.
Then how about the notice board in there? Which was covered from top to bottom in confidential documents only the police should have access to.
Ah, no, that board's not mine. The inspector must have brought it along. It's only the other bits and bobs that belong to me. The desk and that chair, that...
People don't generally carry enormous nose boards around with them. The real question is, why was Inspector Gregson killed there in your room? Holy shit! Oh my god. You know what I just fucking realized? I know who this guy is now. I just noticed who he is. This is fucking Daily Vigil. The only reason why he didn't look familiar to me was because of the frickin' lip. Look at his hair. His hair is the same as this guy. Oh my god. How am I just now noticing that? Okay, I'm gonna be curious to see who noticed that the fastest if I watch any other Let's Plays of this part.
Well, obviously I've not the faintest idea. I mean, it's causing me no end of bother, to be honest.
It seems to me that Mr. Gossip, sorry, Mr. Boone, would have had as little as known about his room as possible for some reason.
Yes, it does come across that way. And more importantly, Knowing that the scene of the crime is actually his room completely changes things.
In particular, there's one part of his testimony that's really bothering me now.
That's how I'm finally going to undo this man. Okay. Oh, this is the statement I have to press on. I think. Alright, I'm gonna press this one then, too. You mean you have no family?
Nope, none at all. So I spend me days on Fresno Street peddling tidbits to passerbys. Hoping just between us, this is that eventually someone else with lips like mine will come along.
I don't think so.
You may be right.
Anyway, that mark on your neck's just too much of a coincidence for us to ignore.
Well, what's a fella to do then, eh? If you don't believe me, we're at an impasse. And there's nothing I can do but flick me lip.
Looks like I'm not going to get anywhere here unless I can produce some proof.
You're basically saying I got dressed up and posed as some fancy inspector, ain't you? Well, it's beyond me how you think I could do that. Just look at me, eh? Does it look like I carry off a disguise with a face like this?
Alright, let's press that. Maybe you could, say, with a mustache or a beard to cover that lip.
Aye, perhaps. But if I was going to stick some fake facial hair on the cover of this fine specimen, I'd end up looking like his lordship over there, wouldn't I? Pardon? I assure you my lips are entirely unremarkable. And I would ask you not to cast such scrutinizing looks in my direction, Counsel.
Ah, sorry, my lord. My American English got the better of me there.
Well, Inspector Gregson did wear a mustache, of course.
You're right, he did. So, perhaps he was hiding something himself.
He could barely have hidden a crumb in a mustache of that size. And anyway, the detective we spoke with had no facial hair at all.
See, the couple's right. He was a clean shaven.
It certainly seems beyond the realms of possibility that the witness could have disguised himself as the victim. Aye, it does and it is.
That's the extent of their testimony, is it?
What's your feeling, Mr. Naruhodo?
Well, what Mr. Boone says is undeniable. It would be all impossible to hide those lips with any form of disguise.
Perhaps yes, but nevertheless, the mark around his neck is equally undeniable. And it's identical to the one that Mr. DeRossi suffered.
Yes, that's true. But why does this whole disguise idea just keep playing on my mind? Okay. I think it's the fourth statement. I'm gonna save, but I have an idea what I need to press here. Why on earth would this be in your room, sir?
Objection!
If you have no kinfolk, as you put it, then explain why it is among the sparse furnishings we found this photograph in your room.
Ah!
I presume as you've been renting the room, that this photograph belongs to you, does it not?
Oh, well,
Mr. Boone, drop the pretense, and tell the court exactly who you really are. Oh, here we go, we get this music.
I don't know what you mean. I'm a peddler. I keep telling you so. You really don't need to bother with me. Please, just leave it alone. As the man says, leave it alone. Whatever the truth is about this man's life, it has no bearing on this case. Because it's simply not possible that he impersonated Inspector Gregson.
Objection!
How can you be so sure?
Just look at the man. No amount of disguise could ever hide those unmissable features.
But what if we were to look at this the other way around?
What do you mean? Yes, Counsel, what do you mean?
Well, there's no denying that Mr. Boone's lips is very prominent indeed. But consider the possibility that his prominent lip itself are part of an elaborate disguise. Well, that is possible. Then hiding that prominent feature, in other words, revealing his true face, would make an utterly impenetrable disguise. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Hugh Boone?
Oh!
Love this music. So good. I love that there's, like, a build-up to the, like, cornered thing. It's so cool.
Good. Witness, are you still hiding the truth from this court?
If that's a disguise, then underneath it, his true identity must be...
Yes, that's right. There's really only one person he could really be. My lord, the defense believes it can reveal Mr. Boone's true identity to the court.
No, please, no. Very well then, counsel. What is the true identity of this peddler who goes simply by the name of Gossip on the street?
Daily Vigil. Your real name is actually Mr. Vigil, isn't it? Mr. Daily Vigil?
Oh! I don't recall that name, counsel. Who is this Mr. Vigil?
It's a name I encountered yesterday, my lord. It has to do with a certain client of Mr. Herlock Sholmes. A young gentlewoman came to the detective asking him to locate her missing husband. The woman in this photograph, in fact, this is Mrs. Vigil.
What?
From what I understand, you haven't returned home since the night before the inspector was found dead. But of course, on that night, you were being held captive by the two Red-Headed League men.
And last night you were put up by the prosecution service in preparation for testifying in this trial. Because we've been led to believe that you, Miss Venus, and Mr. Sandwich were all homeless. Being important witnesses in this case, we needed to know where we could find you, of course.
And that explains why you've not only been unable to return home, but also unable to contact your wife, who's been beside herself with worry waiting for you at the Vigil residence.
No, just you hold on a minute. I don't have the fit.
What I'm talking about, really? Slam. It's a simple enough matter to confirm my suspicions. All we have to do is pull off that disguise.
No, please. Bailiff, bring soap, sponge, and a washbowl at once. Mr. de Rousseau and Mr. de Rosy, you'll restrain the witness. Oui, my lord.
See, my lord.
Oh! No! Stop! Get off, please! Don't!
The fucking lips fell off. Well, that explains a lot. Honestly, I kind of wish I found out that twist sooner, because that's really neat.
Well, we are now seeing your true features, I presume. Lift your head, sir, so the court can see your face. It would appear that the defense counsel's assertion was entirely correct. This has all been a very elaborate deception. So, witness, tell the court. Have you seen this man before? I don't believe it, but...
See, there is no question. This isn't the inspector we saw in the park.
Extraordinary.
On the day of the Red-Head League enrollment, the man claimed to be Inspector Gregson who appeared before Mr. de Rousseau and Mr. de Rosy in the park.
Was you disguised as the inspector, or rather, was you posing as the inspector in no disguise at all?
Mr. Vigil was formerly employed as the chief warder at Barclay Prison.
The chief warder? Then your career had promise. Why would you quite possibly have become the future governor of the prison?
Well, I think I read that completely wrong.
What on earth could you be doing peddling tittle-tattle on Fresno Street?
Well, it's been 10 years since Mr. Vigil worked at the prison.
10 years? I'm really dreadfully sorry about all this. Yes, it's true. I am Daily Vigil. And you were the chief warder at Barclay Prison 10 years ago. So where did Mr. Hugh Boone come from? Boone is the other me. It's a name I invented. Well, evidently there's a great deal under the surface here. I'll explain everything. I'll tell you just how wretched my life has become.
I don't know why he's got the surfer dude voice now.
As you say, it was 10 years ago now that my employment as Barclay's chief ward had come to an end. Having left the prison service, I searched for some new occupation by which to earn a wage. But times were hard in London, and I found no suitable engagements at all. In desperation one day, I turned my hand at selling wares on Fresno Street.
But your wife appears to know nothing of this. She still maintains that you're the chief warder at Barclay Prison.
I was utterly determined that my wife should not know about my failings, which is why I've never told her. I opened an account at the bank under the name of Hugh Boone, and I rented the cheapest room I could find on Fresno Street.
The scene of the very crime we're investigating.
Yes, that's right.
Oh wow. Very comic book style.
A place from which I could emerge every morning at 8 and a squalid peddler.
Or as a swallowed.
And transform myself back every evening at 5 into a well-dressed man about town before returning home. That quickly became my daily routine. I was puzzled by the lack of furniture in the room. But that explains it.
But why on earth didn't you just tell us this in the first place?
I have a wife, sir, and 2 sons. And without wishing to sound self-conceited, they regard me with some pride. I couldn't bring myself to disappoint them.
So instead you decide to conceal your occupation from them.
Yes. I've made such a terrible mess of everything. Still, one thing doesn't add up. No matter how many tidbits of information you can sell to passing gentlemen, even at 6 pence apiece, you couldn't hope to match the salary you must have commanded as chief warder at the prison. Very true. To have kept your family in comfort despite 10 years of somewhat misbegotten employment. That was all thanks to Inspector Gregson.
What? Inspector Gregson? What on earth?
It was some years after I invented Boone and begun my other life as a street seller. He, the inspector, that is, recognized me one day. Do you mean to say the victim was an acquaintance of yours? I knew him from my time working at the prison. When he saw what I'd become, he was deeply troubled for me and my family. And from that day forward, he visited me on Fresno Street with increasing regularity.
Well, that's nice of him.
Then one day, he asked me if I would carry out a secret assignment for him.
A secret? What was it?
I was to impersonate the inspector. What? Impersonate him?
Wow, look at that stance of his.
We always met in that little room so the inspector could brief me. Visit Ocracy tomorrow to take the statement from the proprietors. It was always something along those lines. Surveillance work, interviewing people. On those occasions, he would lend me his identification so people would believe who I was. My instructions were to make an impression, to let people know that Inspector Gregson had been at work. And for those services, he compensated me financially. A Scotland Yard inspector willingly relinquished his identification to your care with intent to deceive? That, as I'm sure I need not point out, is a very serious criminal offence. But why? What was the point of you impersonating him? I truthfully do not know. All I can say is that the inspector warned me on numerous occasions.
Oh. Oh wait, oh shit, I didn't mean to press through that.
Now remember, Vigil, I need your solemn word. You don't blab about this to anyone, alright? Ever. Even if, well, if I end up a croaker. In time, he started to bring papers with him to the room as well. It became something of a second office for him.
So, in fact, the person who declared himself to be Inspector Gregson at the park on Lime Street was really...
Yes, it was me, acting on the inspector's orders. As usual, I removed my boom disguise, and then went as instructed to the park, armed with the inspector's identification book. It never occurred to me that the bruise on my neck might give me away.
That just makes you wonder, how many of these cases that we've done, how many of those have actually been Inspector Gregson, then? How many of those were not just Vigil disguising himself as Gregson? Damn, that's still a trial, though. That's crazy.
Well, it would seem this confession completely destroys the defense's case. Explain yourself, Prosecutor Sogi. My lone friend's assertion was as follows. The victim was killed in another location on the day before his corpse was discovered. At the hands of these two red-headed League men when they imprisoned the inspector.
The fucking hand.
But no, that can't be. After all, it wasn't the inspector who went to the park that day. It was me.
Oh, goodness.
Finally, we have clarity. We had nothing to do with the murder of the inspector. And merci, Monsieur de la Defense, for proving it.
That's a very womanly scream that he just did.
Order! Indeed, it would appear that we have reached a de facto conclusion of sorts. These witnesses had no involvement in the murder of the victim.
I mean, I didn't expect these Fartknockers to.
As proven somewhat ironically by the defense. I hereby call an end to the cross-examination.
Hold it!
Oh shit, who was that? Was that a Sogi?
Pardon, my lord, but with your permission, I would like to pose one further question to the witness.
Cosmo?
What question, counsel? It concerns the events of 10 years ago. I believe you would have been present at a very significant execution that was carried out at the time.
Oh shit.
10 years ago?
The execution of the professor, Genshin Asogi. Oh yeah, it makes sense that Cosmo ought to know.
I want to know exactly what your involvement was. Oh. Answer me, man. One moment, counsel. Is this related to the current case? Naturally. It is the prosecution's belief that this case and the events of 10 years ago are inextricably linked. Does the defense concur, counsel?
Cosmo, you're not yourself. You're not as calm and collected as usual. Poor Cosmo-sama. No wonder he's acting this way. Mr. Vigil's memories of what happened 10 years ago would tell the tale of Genshin Asogi's last moments, his own father. Yeah, Cosmo really went off the deep end once he found out what happened to his dad. Prosecutor Sogi, do you genuinely believe that this question requires an answer in order to learn the truth behind Inspector Gregson's death?
I need you to trust me, please.
Very well. Then the defense is no objection.
I see. In that case, you'll answer the question, witness.
The truth is, I remember very little of that time.
You've forgotten?
I'm sorry to say, yes. As I said, I resigned from my role at the prison 10 years ago. But for some peculiar reason, my memory of the events leading up to that moment is extremely hazy.
Does that not strike you as strange, Mr. Naruhodo?
Sorry?
Well, 10 years is a long time, but to have forgotten the reason why he left such an important job.
Yes, you're right. And not only that, Mr. Vigil's claim contradicts what we already know. Yeah, I know it contradicts.
The human spirit is a fragile thing. It's broken all too easily. Which is why we have a tendency to wrap it up for protection.
Sorry? The human spirit? I'm afraid I don't understand what you mean.
When we experience pain and suffering that we feel unable to bear, we block it out, obliterate it from our memories, seal it away. But it never truly leaves us. If the seal is broken, the memories resurface. And when they do, that fragile spirit may finally be crushed.
But I really don't.
Kazuma-sama.
But if it must be crushed, then so be it. Because the truth will not stay buried. It's coming out one way or another.
Right, now I understand. It's clear what his intentions are. He means to expose the truth at any cost. Perhaps if I pointed out the contradiction in what Mr. Vigil claimed earlier, it might cause some crucial memories to return to him. But should I? Should I present the evidence or not?
Do it! Do it!
I have no idea how this is going to go, but this is a court of law, and I have a duty to pursue the truth. Mr. Vigil, I'd like you to take a look at this. Evidence that clearly contradicts your version of events. The dismissal notice. There we go. Just a few moments ago, you made the following statement. I resigned from my role at the prison 10 years ago.
Well, yes.
In other words, you claim to have left the post of Chief Warder of your own volition.
Well, yes, of course. Why?
Tell me, do you remember seeing this document before?
No, I don't.
This is a dismissal notice ordering the immediate termination of prison staff members' employment.
A dismissal notice?
And the name on the notice is yours, Mr. Vigil.
What? It's mine?
So you didn't resign from the prison service at all? For some reason, you were dismissed as Chief Warder from Barclay.
No, there's been a mistake. I'm sure. I'm sure I tendered my resignation. This dismissal notice is nonsense. Isn't it?
If you were forcibly dismissed, there must have been a good reason. Clearly, you did something. Mr. Vigil, it's time to break the seal and have you remember.
Whoa, what is this music? It's kind of spooky. This is gonna be like the oh fuck theme or something. I don't know.
According to the few remaining records, the final execution that you supervised was on 17th June 10 years ago. And on that day, something very serious took place at Barclay Prison.
The 17th of June.
What was that? The professor's execution?
Professor?
As you were the Chief Warder at the time, it stands to reason that you would have been present throughout the proceedings.
It does sound familiar.
And yet, that execution never took place. The convict, ostensibly executed earlier that day, later re-emerged from his grave.
The convict came back to life? In the cemetery in the middle of the night, there was a witness.
However, the witness claims that a moment after he saw the convict clambering out of his grave,
Bang.
a gunshot rang out from over his shoulder. And the bullet pierced the professor's chest, killing him instantly. Those may have been the professor's actual last moments.
Yes. Seeing as you were in charge of overseeing executions at the time, you must know the truth about what really happened. It's in your head somewhere deep down. Well, Chief Ward of Daily Vigil, I know there are memories in your head that can explain what happened on the 17th of June 10 years ago. And now it's time for you to drag them up.
Mr. Vigil.
Yes, the whole prison. It was complete chaos. The prisoner escaped. He was killed in the cemetery. The shocking news ripped through Barclay like a hurricane.
What?
Order! Do you mean to say, Mr. Vigil, that your memories of the time have returned? My head, it's like some floodgates have been opened. The images, the screams,
Oh my goodness.
the papers. There were reports, articles about a man who'd seen a ghost.
Yes, in October.
But surely those reports were exaggerated. There were traces at the scene.
Traces of what?
In Lowgate Cemetery, at plot number 139. Blood. Lots of blood. That's where the man was buried, of course. Obviously, something terrible had happened there. The depths of conspiracy and depravity from which this tale is emerging are quite staggering. I have reviewed the police records from that time extensively. A thorough investigation was conducted by Scotland Yard to ascertain how the convict managed to escape in the first place. And the conclusion reached by the investigation team was that a member of the prison staff must have been involved. Are you suggesting that a prison warder abetted the man's bid for freedom? Yes, and I was suspected of doing it, of using that mass murder's execution as a way to help him escape.
You did what?
I remember now. The horror of it all was coming back to me. One evening, a few days after the execution, some detectives came to the prison. I was called to the governor's office at the top of the watchtower.
Oh shit, here we go.
I'm sorry, Daly. Daly's a serious business, but I can help you now. As Chief Warder, you're responsible for overseeing the execution of 4A. Well, seems the fellas at Scotland Yard went to have a few wee birds with you about it. You better pack your things, laddie. You to attend in person.
I'm not very good at my Scottish recently.
As soon as he told me that, my mind just went completely blank. And the next thing I knew, Professor.
Oh wait, is this Naruhodo speaking? I don't know.
And I let him escape. I'm finished. My life is over. Oh!
was quite the scream.
Order! Bailiff, fetch a doctor at once! Court's adjourned for today with immediate effect.
So, with Mr. Vigil's collapse, proceedings came to an abrupt end for the day, once again overshadowed by the legacy of that notorious killer, appearing like a cursed ghost ship on a foggy ocean.
Damn. So Mr. Vigil was the one who killed Asogi?
Lord Van Zeeks, Mr. Vigil, Kazuma, and Gregson.
That's a lot of it. That's a lot of important
All of
names.
them bound by invisible chains anchored to the same wreckage in the murky depths of the past. But the miraculous light that had been trying to cut through the gloom and shine on those tragic events was playing on the edges of the truth at last.
Oh, this is getting so good, bro. You know shit's serious when Naruhodo starts narrating everything. Like, holy crap. Wow. Man, that was a good trial. And what time am I at? An hour 46. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good note to end it on, honestly. So, I think in the next episode, we're gonna start the next investigation of episode 4. Wow. See, it's funny because that case, that trial, it just started out with like cross-examining some Fartknockers, like, you know, freaking Red Riding Hood and Old Man, and then it turns out that that guy with the funny lip is actually Mr. Vigil. Like, how? That's crazy. Crazy. It is crazy. And also, not to mention, having like Asogi as the prosecutor is still like one of the coolest fucking things ever. I mean, I need to stop swearing so much, but like, it just adds like emphasis, man. It's like, how else can I say it? It looks like he's also gonna probably be the prosecutor for the second trial as well. And then I'm assuming, right? Now, I don't know anything about episode 5 yet, but I'm assuming that Van Zeeks, he's gonna get acquitted, and he's gonna come back as the prosecutor for case 5, and we're gonna finish things off with him as the prosecutor, probably. At least that's my assumption. Or I don't know, who knows? Maybe there's some crazy shit's gonna pop up and frickin' Strongheart's gonna be the prosecutor, because now we know he was a prosecutor in the past. Like, what if he shows up and we have to be he gets to be the prosecutor and he's prosecuting the defendant or whatever. I don't frickin' know. All I know about this game is that Strongheart is very important in like the last act of the game. And I might have an idea on who he is or what he's done, but I'm not so sure yet. But I'm kind of glad I don't know all the details because, well, it's not like it really matters. It's more about the journey than the investigation anyways, right? I meant destination, not investigation. You know, just because you know a few answers doesn't mean it's not fun to figure out how you get those answers. You know what I mean? Well, anyways, I might actually stream more of this later, depending on how I feel, because, you know, I'm getting into this. You know, all I'm doing is just like a couple of Great Ace Attorney streams a day, but that's pretty fun to me. So I'm gonna go shopping. I'm gonna go to Superstore. I'm gonna maybe check on how my girlfriend's doing after that, and depending on how things go, I'm either going to maybe see if one of my friends wants to play something tonight, or I'm just going to continue Great Ace Attorney because this game's getting good. I want to stream more of it, man. I think Kirby and the Forgotten Land can wait now until I'm finished with this game because the game's getting really good now. Well, anyways, I will see you guys later. All right.